judging by the FX market, this is a big deal. So, Paul, last week we had a 200 basis point rate cut, but it is the politics that seems to have moved the FX dial at the moment. How big a deal is this? Persona non grata for 10 ambassadors is what we expect.
Right. Well, I think what you're saying, Magnus, is exactly right. The moves that we saw last week were more extreme in some ways when the central bank surprisingly cut interest rates further than expected. But this politics angle is adding a new dimension to the lira weakness. The move itself is not extreme at this moment. It's about 1.5%. But as you say, we're at a record low and we keep setting record lows down for a third day in succession. One thing to bear in mind is we don't have confirmation yet that Turkey will expel the diplomats. We just have the comments from Erdogan. And so maybe the market is waiting for that confirmation before a potential further move as well.
Yeah, as I say, it's the expectations that and the uncertainty that seems to have irked the volatility. I mean, it's gone from being the hero of the EMFX really to one of the worst performers this year, down 23%. And therein lies the point. Is this contained? Because foreign ownership of Turkish assets is down. Do you think that this remains a Turkey problem rather than an EMFX problem in the sightline of taper and potential hikes from the Fed next year?
I think you're absolutely right to highlight that as well, Manus. The foreign ownership of Turkish assets isn't what it was, say, 5 years ago, which means that the forced selling that you might see as a result of this filtering through into other asset classes is less than we were used to or we experienced in previous bouts of turbulence. Nonetheless, there is some exposure out there. For example, Japanese retail investors love the Turkish lira because the very high interest rates there counteract a lot of the weakness that we see in the currency, except for when we get further moves like this. And at the moment, the positioning for Japanese retail investors is pretty high. If we see some forced liquidation from those types of players, then that could lead to some further weakness, at least in the lira, maybe not filtering through all that much into the rest of the world. I suppose the other thing that you have to think about is if this continues to escalate and magnify and destabilizes the Middle East, then of course the implications could be much more serious. But that's a speculation and probably for another day.